Then help me check your own network. Is it back? Check yours, please. For this case, I don't understand Airtel at all. No, it's not Airtel. It's in
Okay, so it's still the network issues here. My network even went off. I had to rejoin now. So give him a minute or two and he'll be back. Let me see how I contact him to be sure. Network. Okay, so he just called me now. I don't know why his network has chosen today of all days. He said he's switching back to the one he, he was on before now. So he'll be joining us again in less than 3 minutes, please. Oh.
Hello, hello everyone.
We can hear you.
Yeah, hello. Welcome back.
So sorry, my apologies. The network is really, really bad for my phone there. So sorry for that.
So sorry about that too.
Alright. So let's just continue from where we are. All right. So let's get into the practice area. All right. We have all that. So we're trying to open a file and pass it and dump this particular word on JSON on dictionary into what? Into JSON. Into a file. So let's do this. Our file. So this dumps it into what? Into the file. Since we open the file for write and read. So I'm just let's run it below off. So we come to our file, we have and we use. And we use JSON. I actually use the TXT for let me see. So you can see from there we're able to paste it into it, into this file. But as we're pasting it, it's not going into the next line. So you can still do like this if you want to view it. Let me remove this. Let's take this file out. So you can see it, the JSON was successfully pasted. So we are able to serialize it and what save it into a file called JSON file. We can actually still do this in what in a text file also. So we can still do the same thing like yeah. Let me rename this. Move the file. But you see that no matter the file, either in TXT or this, it will still work. So, but preferably, since it's JSON you are dealing with, it's good that you leave it as what as JSON file. So, but if it's in text form, you can still save it there. So, let's see. Here. So you can see it now is in plain text, so it's not showing us those signs because it's not in JSON file. So at the minute it's JSON file, you see all those color signs to show you that okay, this is JSON file. So this is plain text. So let's deal with it in plain text. So let's open this as a file. So here, what we just do basically is to serialize it. After serializing it, instead of saving it in a variable, we save it into a file directly. And we use this wait to help us open our file. So we don't have to worry about closing the file using this statement, wait statement. So we don't have to worry about closing the file. So we went ahead and automatically serialize this and push it into this file that we open. So if we want to deserialize, so we've seen serialization in two forms. If you want to serialize it and from a string to or to save it in a variable, in a string variable. So from a string, if you want to serialize from a string like this. We have to use S to have something like this. If it is in the string form like this, we have to use S. Let's go to we've already wasted so much time. So for this, that's for dump. So you should know how to dump it into a file. So once you open the file, you can call on JSON dump, pass it the object, the dictionary that you want to serialize. It will serialize it for you. Then you tell it that, okay, I want you to save it in this particular file. So you will go ahead and save it in that file. So what if the case that we want to load it and make use of it, then print it out? So let's go ahead and do this since we are using this TXT. Page. Right. So I want to make use of the port. So now, after dumping it, you can see that we are not saving any variable here. This is what we are dumping into that file. So I want again to read it from the file back to to a JSON form, then print it out. So let me say person here, because I want to load it. So let me say JSON. That's the module that I've imported. Then I'll say load, because I want to load it from a file. So that's why I'm using load. If I want to load it from a string, I will use S. So since it's from a file, I won't put this, then I'll say I want to load it from F. So all the data in F, I want you to read it and load it as a JSON form for me here. So this is what I'm saying right here. So once you load it, let's print it out and see what's inside. So if we run that file again, the file, and run it again. Okay. Execute to run. Return load. We have to read it first. Ah, but wait. So let's read everything. That is solid packaging. Having error. Person chasing the blues while the return load. FP. Alright. Put it as a string. Put the next one class. Still giving us an error. JSON decoder dot JSON dot encode error expecting value line 1, column 1, character 0. Are we not doing? Raise JSON decode error expecting value. Alright, let's read this together. Passing JSON loads every file return default. Default API. Downloading this. Work. Load it in person. Load it. Alright, wait. I'm missing something else. I have to check it together. File. Okay, what are I supposed to do? What? Okay, let's see how to use this JSON with Python. Very R. JSON error decoder, JSON this, or also we have, so these are the methods in JSON. So let's see, we call it dump. So we have the dump, we have the dumps, we have the encoder, we have the load, we have the loads, and what is scanner. So let's see what. Oh, so call in your default dictionary. You can pass the dictionary directly doctor module. All right, let me share my browser so that you see what I'm doing, the research that I'm going to do, so that we'll get the heck of it. Python. So I'll come to this and just search for it and say JSON dot load. Well, let's say it here. Just go to stands for JavaScript object notation. It's a lightweight data interchange format that is used to store and exchange data. Self-description in nature, there is a built-in package in Python that supports JSON data, which is called JSON. So the data in JSON is represented as quoted string consisting of key value pair mapping enclosures between the code. And we have the JSON load. JSON load method can be used to paste a valid JSON string and convert it into a Python dictionary. It is mainly used for deserialization. So we've seen deserialization, so native string byte or byte array, which consists of JSON in Python dictionary. So the syntax, JSON.load, then we pass in the string. So let's see the way they use it here. X, so this is a string, the string form. So the JSON, import JSON, X, so JSON load this, so this in the string form. So that's why they use the one with the S, because the format is in a string, so they are passing it here. So the result is a Python dictionary. We print this, so it gives us this. Okay. Then JSON, let's see. Employee is also in the string format. So employee dictionary that loads with this string. I'm looking for the one with the load. Okay. Here we have the load here. So the JSON forms, JSON loads. So the syntax is file object. So the file object that we're passing in. So argument, it takes file object as a parameter and returns a JSON object. So here's the file, here's the object. We want to read the content of the file below. So file open, okay, open this, return data, JSON.load file. Same thing we're doing. Well, we get an error. File I data this, print this file. So let's see. I think we're doing it right, but I don't know why we're getting error. Just throwing that same error to us. This guy. EI. Let's go back to the file again. Make some changes. So person. So we say JSON.load. We are loading from our file. So let's see this. Let's just use read. That's where the problem is coming from. Just to read. It's plus 5. File. First root file. Coding error, expecting value line 1, column 1, character. So since we're getting this error, let's check Stack Overflow. Now check Stack Overflow to see the proper where we're getting this. Can you see what I'm doing on my browser?
No, sir.
Okay, sorry. I want you to see how I follow to solve problems. Also, so getting this, we're doing everything right, but so basically, I go to Stack Overflow and try and see people's explanation, what they talk about it. Sometimes give you depth understanding of what's actually happening. So I'm getting error expecting value line 1 when I try to decode JSON. The URL I use, the error happens at return.load. So this is someone's own, I encountered the same kind of problem with this. Definitely is bound to get this error. Let's see the line. There is no need to use library. The same library is included with Python as the JSON module. There is no need to decode a response from UTF to Unicode. Simple JSON loads. from a string. Let's see. Open JSON dot read as J contain JSON dot load this string. I think a lot of people are guilty of doing this every of once in a while, myself included. Content dot JSON dot load. So let's go back and see what exactly we're doing wrong. So it's the encoder that is complaining about by file. How are we getting this error? You know what? Let's try reading it plainly and follow it. Let's see what will happen. In my file, first to open. Give it my file. .txt mode by default it's going to be read mode, but let's pass it to say the encoding. Let's pass UTF-8. Okay. And since we open it, let's say person dictionary, so it's equals is JSON dot load what my file. This file that we open here, I want to load it, so it's read form, so we want to load it here. Then let's print it out. Print it out. That's what. And save my file. File dot close. Wants to close this guy. To close it, let's try and run it. See what we'll get. We're getting the same error.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
From that Stack Overflow solution, I think they were saying that there's no need to put the encoding, that it's going to read by default.
Okay, that's when we're reading. Okay, let's do that. File. So let's remove the encoding. I think that would be the problem actually, because it's complaining about the encoding. So let's try and see. No, it's not from there. Let's try it as a string. Let's use the string on and see what we'll get from it. try it as a string. Let's not read it from a file. So let's just pass it directly as str. String. Let's do it. So let's call this the name. David. Uh, but this time around, since we want to use the string, let's put it this way. Okay. Let's load which is in a dictionary. So we have the S here. We don't need this. So let's see if this will work. Then we'll know that the way we are importing, then we'll go and look at that also. This should, if this thing works, so need to go back and read the material. So actually reading it from string is working, but let's see if it's actually working. Let's go back to the file. So if reading it from the text is working, then from the file, that's where we're having the issue. Let's try this again. Right. There's text. Let's load it here. Let's see without any encoding what it will give us. Same error. Expecting value. String. Error. Trace file. This in the load. Dictionary. Return loads. Read. Okay. Try to read. default decode or decodes. Hence, um, let's try JSON file. Let's see if our text file that is giving us that error is. I don't think it's the text file that is giving that error. Let's see. Coding. Because if we're reading from a file, we have to encode it while we're having this issue. So let's see. I think we're not supposed to read from the text file. That's what I'm suspecting. Let's give it a shot this last time. It's not, we'll just jump into solving those problems. I think we'll be able to come across social media. This, let's move file txt to file JSON. And then call this guy. File. JSON decode. Just hold on, please. Let me go. Call one character typically occurs when you are trying to paste a string as JSON, but the string is not in a valid JSON format. This error is raised by the JSON library when it encounters an unexpected character at the beginning of the input string. It was expecting a JSON value. It will happen due to the input string is empty, the input string is not valid JSON format, it may contain additional character or syntax error. The input is not a string at all, but another data type such as an integer, float, or anything. So I think they are giving us some hints here. Let's see this. So actually our file is empty, so we'll be trying to read from an empty file. So that's why we're having the error. So let's just write to this. Let's see. name. So let's save this and see. Let's play this. You can see how error can occur. If you are not careful, you'll be thrown off guard. So this file you have to check. So we've been trying to read from an empty file. That's why we're having such errors. So you can see it's actually empty file that we're trying to read. So I think let's jump into the tasks and just solve some of the tasks. So, but actually, you've seen, we've gone through it, and we actually touched all the tasks. But we're trying to read from an empty file, so it keeps throwing the error. So it's something that you should know. Once you see such error, you should know that you're trying to read from an empty file. So it's something that we should consider when we are doing our test. We should consider reading from an empty file, a file that does not have any value or does not have this format to read from. So actually we've looked at load and also loads S. So load S did successfully and also load did successfully. So that's what I wanted us to touch before we go forward. So let's reopen that so that we'll look at some of the tasks. Just try to do them. Okay. So we've looked at the serialization. So the serialization is changing it to a string and saving it into a file. So, and we encounter problem during the deserialization, that is fetching it from a file back to what? To dictionary, Python dictionary. So how to convert a Python data structure to a JSON string, how to convert a JSON string to a Python data. So we've done that. So you are tasked to come up with solution for the tasks below yourself to meet the above learning objectives. So requirement Python allows, so these are the things that you're allowed to use. Your file should be interpreted, compiled on Ubuntu. This is the version, so using Python 3.85. So all your files should end with a new line. So the first line of all your files should be this shebang header. The read file at the root, so Python test. So allow editor, this is the editor. So all your files should be with a new line. All your test files should be inside a folder, tests. So you're going to have an extra file called what test. So you're going to test each case. So you can see that when we are doing our own, we encounter some problems. So like when you are doing your test for each of those tasks, you put that into consideration. So in the case that the file that you are trying to read from doesn't have any content, so you have to check for it, you have to test for it. So once the file is empty, you know how to handle it. So I think the testing, we'll look at it another day. So let's just do the main core and apply our knowledge that we've learned from yesterday and today. So write a function that reads a text file and prints it out. So this is the function, say dev read file. So pass in the file. So in the default, it returns what? It gets what? An empty string by default. If it's not given, it comes with this. So you must use the with statement. So they are giving us constraint that, okay, you're going to use what? With statement. So, and this is how your function prototype is going to be. Then you don't need to manage file permission or file does not exit exception. So they are telling you don't need to manage these scenarios, these edge cases. You don't need to manage it. So you are not allowed to import any module. So this is how you run your test. After doing it, when you run your test, read file. When you call the function from your module, as read file, import read file dot read file. So they are actually importing it. Then read file my file dot txt. So you should. If you cut this txt, this is what they have. This is the content of it. So if you call the project, you run it, and this off. So once you run the project, the test, you should print out this to this. So let's see how we're going to implement it. So this is actually a test that always look at it, what they are actually asking me to do. So now I say that, okay, there is a text file that will create what called, say, cat. Here you create this 0.main.py. So, and this is the content of 0.main.py here to this place. This is the content. So if I call 0.main.py, it should give me this. So you can see they are importing what? Our read.file and trying to use that method that we're going to implement up here. So, and it will read it out. So, and there are instructions saying that we should always document our modules. So let's go and try and solve that particular problem. I'll share my entire screen now with you guys. Just give me a minute. So, sharing my entire screen. Share entire screen so that okay, let's open the content. Okay. Let's do the first one. So we already know how to open a file. We know the with statement, so they're asking us to make use of the with statement here from the instruction. So like me, I'll follow the instruction and read everything. So they are saying that the text file should be what? UTF decoding that reads a file from UTF and prints it out. So this is our prototype. You must use the with statement. You don't need to manage file permission. So the mode, we don't have to worry about mode. So file does not exist exception. So you are not allowed to import any module. So from this, we'll come here. We'll name it. So here you can see your file should be 0 read file.py. So once you say this, let's create it. vi 0 read underscore file dot py. So they say the first line in our this thing should be a shebang. So we have it slash user slash bin slash item 3.
Will you leave pineapple?
Three.
It's not good.
So, before this, you have to always document it. So you say it's a module that contains a function which reads from a file. So since it's short, I can just leave it here, but if it is long, I will just break it into lines and it will still work fine. So this is the documentation that they are asking you to do. So once you do this, I think it will pass the check at this particular page. Then we have our command. Then from there, we are not importing anything. So we are defining. So we say define. What is the name again? Read file. So can I still see my screen?
I can see it.
Yeah, yes, we can see it.
Okay. So the read file. Name is so this does a default. So the function now, you have to document your function also. So you can still document it the same way. You say function that reads from a file. So if anyone should see this, will know what the function is all about. So also in my function, I'll give a space. I'll say add argument link argument I'm expecting. Okay. Let me just leave it here. File link. So this is just documentation. These are, if I have more than one argument, I can continue naming them. So since I have only one, just leave it one. But end it here. If I'm raising an exception, I will say raise exception. So raise this. Then I will list the exceptions that I want to raise here. So it's just normal documentation, so that somebody that just see this documentation will know, okay, this is what your function is, these are the arguments that you are expecting. This function raises this particular exception. If there are other documentations, I can still add them. So they have, each out is different. So since so I'll go ahead and say with, I'll start with. I'm in the function, I'll say open Then was the file name. The file name is going to be passed here. So I will use the file name here. Then they say we shouldn't worry about you don't need to manage file permission or file does not exist exception. So we're not to manage those exceptions. So we have to use this. So and this is the decoding form. So go ahead and say mode and leave it empty. Or let's put it mode is read. Then encoding, which they have already given us. We say UTF-8. Do this. So after, okay, sorry. We say as F. So this file exists, does not exist. So it is a function, it reads, you're not allowed to import anything. So read file, to pass in this. So you can see they didn't tell us that we're going to print it out. So, but we should know, by the way they use this, we should know that, okay, after reading it, you just use the method. And the next thing, what we're saying is printing out. Once we call this file, we call this method, is going to print out. So we know that after reading, we are going to print it out. So we should do the same thing. And we'll say, let's say data equals to f dot read. So it's going to read everything. So read everything, then we say print data. Then we have end. Okay. This. But I think our function is okay. We've solved the first tag, so let's try and see what would be the output. Next. Yes. This. We call on this. I'll copy this. Copy it from here. Just to see that okay. Okay. Copy this and upload my file.txt is the content. Main.py 0 pi 0 main 0. Enter this. can do this, control paste. So I don't need to waste time doing this text. But writing it, I'll just write. Then text file. Just copy this guy. Copy and have my file dot underscore 0.txt. API my file. I don't know how to spell it. Yeah, so this is the contents of the file. It's this guy. So change mode. Let me rename that. I made a mistake there. Move this guy. 0. Zero dash read UI. So we need to make all the files in executable format. So say change mode. Let them be all 7. Just medium 7. All the files. All files here that ends with UI. Able to successfully do that. So if I do this, need the file. So our method actually works. If our method didn't work, we won't get this result. So you can see the same thing that they are asking us. So this is how they say that they are giving you this test so that you test it before you even push it to checker. So in our instruction, they said we should come up with a folder called test that we're going to write our unit test. So these are the tests links. So you can go ahead and do something like this. They make directory testers. Then cd into it testers. Let's make for this particular file, the first file we created. Let's just do test for just one and call it a day. It's already 11. So let's do this and see. We are naming it into that. Our file carries 0 dash read file. So this is the naming convention. I guess you already know this. Test dot py. We go ahead and what? Enter. Okay, sorry. VI. Okay. So we're going to write test. We're going to come up with a test for this so that what we are expecting out to get out of this after running it, after doing our test, we should make sure that our project is working fine. So I would like to hear your own suggestion. What are the 8 cases that we should look out for? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are the edge cases do you think that we should look out for from this particular? Okay. Let me bring it back so that you can see it. Let me exit this. Let me just do just one import here. Test. I guess you people already know unit testing. Hello?
Not really. Me personally, I'm not good in that too, so you care to explain better.
Personally, I've done more of doc tests than unit tests.
The unit test. So you would like us to look at unit test also. So that it's all part of it. So we'll look at unit test also. So let's look at this one. So but we'll come up with 8 cases. So you already know the doc test. So that's good. So let's say I want us to see that file so that we'll come up with the test case altogether. Then we implement it. Let's see. B, let me go back. 1, 5, back, and 0 dash rate. This is what I'm looking for. So, okay. So we have written this program. We know that, okay, we're the ones that written it. But what are the possibilities that this particular program is going to crash? So we'll look at those edge cases and handle it. Suggestion.
Okay. First of all, if the file name is empty,
Yes. That means if the file name is empty, we'll.
it should not a value error.
All right.
Also,
So,
file not found. I think file not found error or
yes, file not found error. So we're expecting that it's going to result to file not found error if file is not passed to the function. So which of any other one again? How about the encoding? We are the ones doing the encoding ourselves. So we are not expecting that from a user. So let's limit ourselves to what user is going to pass to our function. So let's handle file not found error exception. And file permission, we don't have to handle it. Because automatically it's going to do it. So okay. And then which one again? So let's just handle only file no found error. Do it in unit test form. So let's exit this. We already know. V 0 read this guy. Fine. So we've imported the unit test. What are we testing? We're testing for that particular function. So we need to import that function also. So let's see.
to create a class.
Yes, we need to create a class. So it's the way to import it I'm looking at. To just get only the function. Let's do form. module that we're going to import from will be zero dash read. What is the method that we're going to test? So file, read file. Am I importing it correctly? Am I supposed to do this? Yes.
I don't.
That's been a while I went on Python, so but I'm guessing I'll get it. Help me out, please. Read underscore file. I don't want to Google it. It's going to waste our time. So, but I know you can do something like this. From this file, import read file. Or is it import read file from this? Which one
No,
comes
from the file, import the function, the method, or the
the
function.
method? Yes.
Yes.
So this is the function that we want to import. We want to import this. This is the function, the read file. So I think we did it right. So, but I'm asking, is this supposed to be in a string format?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let's do it. Once it throws the error, we can check back. But I just forgot the too many languages I'm using. I'm using Java and also this for Python. I forgot the Python. So, but we'll look at it. Go back to this guy. So if we are doing the testing, we need to define the class, right?
Yes.
So the class, so we give it a meaningful name. The class that we're going to give, let's say, we'll give it test, read test. Read file. Name it this way. So it's going to make use of unit test. Unit test dot all that function. Remind me, please. I know that.
I don't know about Unity. I don't know about Unity.
Okay, so let's browse it. Fine, let's browse it. Let's go back. Let's just browse it. Google.com. The Python unit test. Python unit test. So let's see it here. I know there is a function that makes available test case. Let's see. Not test. No, that's not what we're looking for. Okay. So you import it, unit test, so test case. So dot test case. So that's what I want to remember. Test case. So where is test case? see.test is. That's what we're actually looking for. So, but don't forget to also document this test also they are doing. So we can say document it the same way we document that. We say class or that test read file function. So I can document this also like this. So I will define this. So since it's in a class, I'll say define. So we'll start it with what? Test. Also, always started with test underscore. Then what are you testing for? We're testing for input, right? Input null value. Let's see. Input file name. We're testing for file name. File name. Those I have it here. So the first thing that I want to do, what is it that I want to see? I want to see that if we pass in if we pass in nothing to this file, it should raise file not found error, right? So the first thing you want to do, you want to call this guy without the string and catch the error and make sure that the error is equal to file not found error. So we say file not found error. Okay, testing. Two. But the method, let's check the method, please. For exceptions. So this one is to assert equal sign. So if it is equal, then default assert true. So this no looking for split. Okay. Assert raise. So you want to raise an error. Self assert raise some exception. Do something. Self assert raise exception. Oof.
Hey guys, sorry, is it just me or something going on?
I think his network has gone off.
Okay, because actually my computer went down, so I had to go switch to my phone. I switched as well, like this. I thought maybe it was from me, but it seems
No,
he stopped presenting. Right? I think he's even left the meeting.
yes, I think his network has gone off.
Okay. It's not like you guys rounded up, right? Because I rushed immediately for my phone.
No. It's not rounded up.
It's network issue. Pascal, that's you, Abby.
Hi, Mr. Wayne.
This is Dixon.
Man. Our
David, how far now? What's going on, bro?
Man, I'm good though. Our network is really, really bad. Like, I've not even heard anything he has said today. I've just been going up and on.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him now to know if he will join us again or.
It's almost 11:30.
Yeah, it's almost 11:30. I just hold on. Let me reach out to him.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Study something. Is that not? Is that Pascal?
It's Dixon.
No, it's Dixon.
Sorry, Dixon. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. So I've reached out to him. I'm not sure he can join us again. So I think this will end the meet for today. But I believe we'll learn a thing or two, at least, no matter how bad the network was. Yeah? Is anybody hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah, me, I was able to pick up quite a lot too. Especially if I'm able to go through over the recording or something. Really, I'm very happy. Those were challenges anyway.
Was that?
As we're getting there, I was like, hey, thank God at last. But however it is, he's always with us. So he may still come back and explain it to us. Right?
No problem.
Okay.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, good night. I appreciate everybody for coming. And Justice, You've been doing a great job. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, good
Everybody,
night.
thank you too. It was nice being there.
Okay. See everyone
Justice
tomorrow.